Nigel's got some big decisions to make. In part 2, Nigel adds some finishing touches, but will Dipsy ever be ready to race? It was never going to be easy, and for Nigel Eistedt, time may have finally run out.
A project that big, you need a bit of luck on your side.
Last-minute turbo trouble means he and his 65 Devon Split Dipsy may miss his club's AGM and a scheduled run on the drag strip.
I don't actually think Nigel's had luck on his side.
Dipsy's been given plenty of grunt, but without a turbo she will struggle to achieve a fast time at Santa Pod. If she doesn't run the quarter mile in under 18 seconds, the project will be deemed a failure. A shattered Nigel and his partner Nikki have come to a big decision.
I budgeted a fortnight from getting the engine back to doing the run, which was a week of just driving it about and then a full week off to do anything that needed doing on it. So going from 2 weeks to 2 days, really, it's just not enough time.
So for now, the drag run must be put on hold.
To be taking it down the strip, I think it needs to we need to be confident that it's safe, and Nigel isn't confident, so I'm not confident. Nigel's just absolutely exhausted. I don't think he'd perhaps admit it, but his brain is definitely not working to its full potential.
Before the run, Nigel had planned to unveil the new look Dipsy at his club's AGM at Stanford Hall in Leicestershire. Now, split-screen van club members will have to wait a bit longer to see if their president ever completes his ambitious project. Nevertheless, given the state of Dipsy 5 months ago, Nigel's achievement to date shouldn't be underestimated.
Sit and think about it on the way back last night, and the handbrake lever is the only part that didn't come off that bus because we couldn't get the pin out. Other than that, every single part has been off that bus and back on again. Some original, some replacement.
Undeterred, Nigel has set himself a new deadline. He now plans to get Dipsy ready for the UK's biggest VW event, Bug Jam.
What's that? Daddy bus.
So in total, it's taken Nigel just 7 months to transform Dipsy from a scruffy old mongrel to top dog.
To be honest, I couldn't be happier. Just the way the wheels look, all the bright work, the bumpers and the trim. The interior, it's the original interior that the van had, but with a slightly modern twist, but then still actually quite retro at the same time.
It is amazing what's been done. When I think, at Christmas, it was just a shed. I feel quite sorry for her. I think she's been, had major surgery. Any girl would be reacting to all of that stuff by now. It is funny because people are like, oh, where's your bus? And when Nigel says, oh, it's there, they go, no, really, where is it? And he says, no, it's there. When people don't believe it, that is quite nice. It makes you think, oh, it's all worth it.
But it's not all about looks. Nigel's getting ready for a trip to the drag strip, where we'll find out if Dipsy's got it where it really matters.
Oscar, out, come on. Good boy, come on then. Good boy.
The past month has provided Nigel with plenty of shakedown time, and the checks and adjustments he's made have boosted his confidence before the run.
There is no comparison. They are like different buses. The engine, the gearbox, the running gear, the suspension. Basically, I'm just learning what the new Dipsy is like and what she's all about.
Nigel plans to enter the Run What You've Brung, which will be more a test of his nerve than Dipsy's performance. Bug Jam is now in its 20th year and attracts over 30,000 V-dub nuts.
I would say this is the ultimate event in this country anyway.
And the bus population in particular seems to be growing year by year.
People don't want to put tents up. There used to be a lot more Beatles, and there's not half as many Beatles here anymore.
Show winning buses to ones that barely pass the MOT, but we'll get them here for a good weekend.
See, all these guys had to set up their tents, so I just jumped straight in that, straight to sleep, eventually.
Nigel isn't here for the campsite chat. He's here to put Dipsy through her paces, and she's certainly attracting some attention in the pits. The engine has been fitted with another new turbo, and with it Dipsy is putting out around 115 brake horsepower.
You want to get some 11s in there.
But Nigel's going to need a few tips if he's to make full use of all that power.
You're learning all the time.
Every day's a school day.
Every day's a school day. You've got to remember, the guy's never been on a track before in his life. It's a Hovis loaf, isn't it? You know, it's all the wind resistance in the world. You've got to kind of be an animal with it. You've got to, really bang through the gears. If you drive it like a granny, you're just going to lose time. It'll come. It's practice makes perfect. All the guys here have to start somewhere,
I wouldn't say I'm nervous. I'm confident that the vehicle can do the time. What I'm actually most apprehensive about is, after all this, getting it so that it's finished and then me totaling it.
Finally for Nigel, the moment of truth has arrived. He's had a nightmare. His boot has flipped open just at the worst possible moment. And the Santa Pod crowd are lending their full vocal support. He must put that embarrassment behind him and try to regain full concentration. In the UK, the quickest bus has done the run in around 13 seconds, which is as quick as a Ferrari. Nigel's just outside the 18-second mark, but it's still a pretty respectable time. In the past few years, over 100 vans have tried to get into the BWA, but only 8 have managed it.
It's getting everything right, all the balance is right. It took me ages. I got a 2.6 and I couldn't do it first time out. So, you have to get used to the vehicle, you have to get used to the track, racing conditions. It's hard.
Nigel will take a lot of confidence from this first run. He knows Dipsy can do it, but will he be able to keep his nerve? He's done it in 17.6 seconds, averaging around 76 miles per hour.
Well done. Thank you. Even rolling off. Well done, fella. Well done, that's really good.
Second run, I've broken what we hoped to break, which we always knew it would, but I've done it.
Dipsy can now be called a fully fledged bus with attitude.
Well, first things first is congratulations, Nigel. Well done. I know it's been a long, tough old road, but that's the idea, you see.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that a sub 18 seconds in a bus is, what's the big deal? There are guys out there with 2.2s who cannot get below 20s. Well done.
Good, nice one.
Good one.
Cheers, mate.
All right, mate. Hey.
Nigel had hoped to get a few more runs in that weekend, but the worst storm in the event's 20-year history put a stop to that. If ever there was a time to have a camper van, this was it. So with the project at an end, how would Nigel and Nikki sum up the past 7 months?
A nightmare.
Say, torture.
Unless you've got no job and a bottomless pit of money and an endless bucket of optimism.
Nigel couldn't have predicted how much work was needed, and his original 12 grand budget proved optimistic to say the least.
The God's honest truth of the matter is, at the moment, we actually don't know how much it cost because things needed doing.
At a rough estimate, it's definitely doubled. And if you think about how stressful it's going to be, you could probably double it and add a bit, double it again and add a bit more.
But it was worth it, and Dipsy has been well received within the Volkswagen community.
Everyone's surprised how much we got done in the space of time.
You know, not only is it a fast bus, but it looks phenomenal, all the interior trim. I mean, look at it, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful bus. He's done an amazing job.
I'd love a motor like that, you know. I'd love a go in it, actually.
So with 7 months hard labour finally over, they can now relax and enjoy the new Dipsy to the full. And they could all do with a good break.
If anybody said that they were going to attempt to do what I've done, I would just say, just don't. Just don't.